Hello everybody, welcome to the YouTube channel, welcome to Thomann, the pedal room. We've never been in here before, have we?
No, I've been here, but we never shot here video.
All right, yeah, we've never shown you this, we've never joined forces and made you a video here. We are looking today at pedals in the pedal room, and we thought we'd help some beginners maybe, like new guitar players or people that don't currently have pedals in their collection. Why do these people exist?
I hope not.
I hope so either. And maybe they're thinking, or you're thinking, you want to add an overdrive or a distortion to change your sound, but maybe you don't know the difference between the two pedals. What is an overdrive, what is a distortion, and how are they different? So, Kris is here to play this wonderful looking Telecaster. For a change.
For a change. Well, let's not talk about the guitar before I start.
No, before we go off on one. We've got some pedals in front of us.
Yeah. Let's
Hand
focus.
selected.
We need some focus. So, overdrive and distortion. We will not get into the technical explanation today because it will last very long. It will take an hour at least to properly explain everything. And also, we are not completely informed. If you want to start with a drive pedal, think about it this way. An overdrive will give you less gain. A distortion will give you more gain. That's the simplest way to explain or describe the
gain,
differences.
so let's go into gain. What is that? Just
That's
generally
the
speaking.
amount of overdriving in your sound. It can come from your amp. Like in an old school amp, it will just be your volume. If you crank the amp, it will distort. The power amp stage will start to saturate and distort. And luckily, we also have pedals, so we don't have to necessarily destroy our ears and hearings. We can use pedals and use an amp on a volume wherever we are, in a rehearsal room, at home, wherever.
This is our SD1.
Yeah, this is a very good
from
example.
Boss.
It's the latest generation of the original Boss Overdrive they came out with, and it has a beautiful, crunchy, warm sound. It's kind of pop rock, punk rock, blues, for all these styles, it's going to be an awesome soft clipping sound.
And onto our distortion.
A distortion is...
And onto our distortion, Kris.
A distortion pedal will, not always, but in many cases, have way more of a full range sound. There are huge differences, obviously, but most of these will have a harder sound, a more aggressive sound, definitely more gain than an overdrive. That's why the two names exist, to have a clear line between less gain and more gain, even though that line doesn't exist anymore because there are like thousands of different distortion pedals that are not really distortions, they're more like overdrive, so a lot of confusion there. But let's just stick to the basics. A distortion will have a harder clipping sound normally, and definitely more gain, which you can use on its own with a clean amp even to have a proper heavy rock sound.
So we're using the Studio Vintage from Marshall, and it's set not clean, but with a little bit of character, a little bit of bite.
Yeah.
And so this is the clean tone,
As you
will, Kris.
If you will. As you would expect from a Plexi type Marshall, which it is. It's the new 20-watt mini Plexi, I guess, in the combo format.
Okay.
It's on the edge of breakup, which is a nice sound.
When you're digging in, it is.
Especially
that's
the
how we want it. So what we want to do now is give that more gain.
Overdrive. I mean, we are not quiet, but it's not stage volume at all. And that's what you can expect, even with a low gain drive. If you have that mid-range, you have endless sustain. Yeah.
You want to try the distortion?
Oh yeah, please.
So we're going to get more gain with some distortion from the OXR. more gain. That's the distortion pedal.
Yeah.
We can go even further. We can go a step further and take it to a really high gain pedal, so a metal sort of oriented pedal, or even then the next even layer is fuzz.
Oh yeah, which is a radical change to your clean sound.
Which we're not going to cover now.
That's a whole different thing. It's
I love
distortion,
fuzz.
but it's a different thing.
I can't handle fuzz in this video. I'm not prepared because I love it too much. So, advice, Kris, as a one guitar player to another, if you're looking for a sound, and maybe you should base it on the bands that you like. So you should hear something and say, how do I get that sound?
Yeah.
If it sounds really gainy, really not thrashy, but overdriven, then maybe it's the distortion you want.
Most probably, yeah.
And if you just want that a little bit of light characteristic and you can hear some clean still in the signal and the dynamics, then overdrive is your friend.
Good point. And also, there are, of course, combinations. So you can go for a distortion pedal and get an overdrive in front of it to have a next level of, or next layer of sound and gain level. So if you stack two pedals, it's best to have an overdrive in front of a higher gain pedal. That way you will have a tighter, more modern sound. And you can also go for two overdrives, like two different voiced overdrives, and combine them in any direction. Your sound will change radically, and you will probably get inspired by that. So that's what I do. I love overdrives, and I love stacking them. Sometimes even three, not all the time. But so you can really experiment with that, but just don't remember. Don't remember.
Don't remember. No. Forget straight away. Don't forget.
Don't forget these rules, like more gain with one pedal is going to be a distortion, less gain and more of a natural saturation and softer clipping, that's going to be probably an overdrive.
I think what we should do, well, firstly, we want to give a caveat that there are no rules when doing this. The only rule is buy more pedals.
No, the only rule is rock and roll and turn it up.
I think what we should do is say goodbye, and maybe you could play us out, and we'll stack two overdrives together. Fancy that?
Nice.